What else is the sword? Needle that's gonna go in your arm, that went in your arm for that so-called for to make you be able to fight off a damn virus. Well, that's a baby sword. That's a small sword. That's a miniature sword because it pierces. Matter of fact, let's get this real quick. Call I'm glad I just got that. That's the spirit. The book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 12. Ecclesiasticus, chapter 12. And I'm going to go to verse 10. 12 and 10. Never trust thy enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Because when something starts rusting, you can't reverse that. So you can't reverse the spirit of the so-called white man, whose spirit was made to be contrary, to be adverse. That's his nature. That was his purpose on the earth. Verse I'm gonna drop down to 13 for time's sake. Ecclesiasticus chapter 12, verse 13. Ecclesiasticus is in the Apocrypha. What is the Apocrypha? The middle part of the Bible, when you go into the 1611 original King James, the Roman Catholic Church took the middle out, which is the Apocrypha. What does the Apocrypha show? The Apocrypha gives you it tells you the story. It tells you the story of Alexander the Greek, or who the so-called white man calls Alexander the Great. It shows you when the so-called white man first came into power. It shows you that he is the literal seed of the serpent. He is the literal seed of Satan, the physical incarnation of Satan. And it shows that you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are the physical incarnation of the righteous. Man. So Ecclesiasticus, also known as Sirach, chapter 12 and verse 13. Who will pity a charmer that is bitten with a serpent, or any such come nigh wild beast? So we can't pity you if you fall for what is a serpent? A serpent is crafty. A serpent is cunning. The serpent was in the garden who beguiled Eve. Huh? Genesis 3 and 15, what did she say? The serpent beguiled me, I believe it is. Genesis 3 and 15. So now we can go back to Psalms, chapter 50. Psalms chapter 50. And verse 20. Again, thou sittest and speakest against thy brother. Thy slanderest thy own mother's son, because Jacob and Esau came out of the same mother, Rebekah. Verse 21. These things has thou done, and I kept silence. So that goes into what we read in Job, the 24th chapter and 24th verse. That guess what? He even though his eyes were still on him, and guess what? They were exalted for a little while, but his eyes was on him. Huh? So they were at rest, is what it said. Matter of fact, let me read that back, because I don't want to butcher nothing, man. Job 24 and 24 again. Now see, Esau, Edom don't want that to come out. There we go. Don't stop. Don't stop this. Job 24 24. Thou art exalted for a little while. So these so-called white people been on top. When you really understand world history, these so-called white people ain't been on top but for a few 500-600 years, right? They are exalted for a little while, but are gone and brought low. They are taken out of the way as all the others and cut off as the top of the ears of corn. So guess what? It said that, Salakia. Let me read that again. Let me start at verse 23. That's what I was looking for. Salakia, let me slow down. Though it be given him to be in safety, whereon he resteth, yet his eyes are upon their ways. So guess what? They rest. They are at rest. Because what? Because what? Because what? Because what? Back in Psalms, chapter 50. My joint want to move slow. but we're going to still bring it out. These things hast thou done, and I kept silence. Thou thought that I was altogether such as one as thyself. So the so-called white man thought that Yahushua was down with him. But I will reprove thee and set them in order before thine eyes. And that's what's happening. He's setting us in order spiritually before their eyes, man. Because what did he say? Let's get that. Let's get that. Amos chapter 9. Amos chapter 9. And verse 11. In that day will I raise up the tabernacle of David that is fallen, and close up the breaches thereof, and I will raise up his ruins, and I will build it as in the days of old. So what is he doing? Spiritually, he's raising up his men of all the 12 tribes, closing up the breaches, meaning the division of it, because when you read in the Old Testament, the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom, they breached. They went a-whoring. They breached. He said, I will close up the breaches thereof. I will raise up their ruins as in the days of old. So he's setting that in order before their eyes. Call Layim La, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. Ba'ashem HaKakwada. Now, we read in Joel 24:24, they were exalted for a while, but they're going to be cut off. Why are they going to be cut off? Let's go to back to Sirach, Ecclesiasticus. Sirach, Ecclesiasticus. Is it 28? Is it the 28th chapter? Or is it 24? Bear with me. Bear with me. I'm going to get it. Why is he being cut off? Why is that? Why is that? We know what? We know that we were given the covenant. I wasn't able to find that scripture. Call La Yahweh Shah. It behooves me right now. But we know we were given the covenant. We established who the saints were, regardless. Now, we know that the saints were promised the kingdom. But why else? Why else are they going to be cut off? Let's get that. Let's get that. One, Salaki. I know it's in Sirach. Let me get that. 1 second. I know it's in Ecclesiasticus. Salaki. What is that, man? I know how to get it. There it is. It was Ecclesiasticus 21. I was in 24 and 28. It's 21 and 8. I was going to 28 and 11, I think it was. That's what I was looking at. I had it confused. We getting right to it. Ecclesiasticus chapter 21 and verse 8. He that buildeth his house with other men's money is like one that gathereth himself stones for the tomb of his own burial. So who built a house with other man's money? None other than Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. The devil that the Bible speaks of. How did he build a house with other men's money? He came over here to the America, or when you read 2nd Ezra, the 13th chapter, it calls it Osiris. He came over here to the Caribbeans and Americas, to the Western world. The tribes of Gad and Reuben, the northern kingdom, received them with open arms, and he stole everything. He took everything. We read that in Revelation, the 13th chapter, in the 10th verse. He killed by the sword, man. Let's read it again. He that buildeth his house with other men's money is like one that gathereth himself stones for the tomb of his own burial. So that's all he did. Because guess what? He was gonna he would be exalted for a little while, and then he'd be cut off. He'd be cut off. Let's prove something, because I want to go into Let me go to Ecclesiasticus, the 28th chapter. Is that it? It talk about let me see. Bear with me again. I want to get this. Let's go to it's Proverbs. That's what it is. Proverbs chapter 28. Proverbs chapter 28. And so many people walking past looking at me like I'm crazy. Well, guess what? I'm out here doing the Yahweh Shem Yahweh's work. Letting our people know who they are. And guess what? They judge me if they hear or forbear. And I'm letting the so-called white man Esau eat them. And the rest of these heathen nations know that they going into slavery. And the so-called white man is getting hard as 1,000 years hardcore. And you're going to be burnt off the face of the earth. Call Layim La Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Proverbs 28:8. He that by usury and unjust gain increaseth his substance, he shall gather it for him. These brothers don't know what's going on, man. These brothers don't know what's going on. He that by usury and unjust gain increaseth his substance, he shall gather it for him that will pity the poor. Because what is I think is that Haggai? Is that Haggai? Let me read that again. I'm gonna get it, Lord willing. Proverbs 28:8. He that by usury and unjust gain increaseth his and he by usury and unjust gain increaseth his substance, he shall gather it for him that will pity the poor. And who pitying the poor? None other than Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Who is the poor? You so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Who gonna have pity, or who gonna have mercy on the poor? Yahweh Shem Yahushua, who the world only calls God and Jesus Christ. I want to get something, because how do we know he shall gather for him that will pity the poor? Let me get this real quick. I think it's in Haggai. I believe it's in Haggai. Yes, it is. Haggai chapter 2. Haggai chapter 2. And let's start at verse 6. Haggai 2:6. For thus saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts. Hosts means armies. Yet once, it is a little while, and I will shake the heavens and the earth and the sea and the dry land. So he's shaking it up right now. He's shaking it up right now with the prophets, with the word going out, shaking up these going into these financial collapses, these droughts, this famine, all the prophecies written in the scriptures. And I will shake all nations, and the desire of all nations shall come, and I will fill this house with glory, saith the Lord of hosts, Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Because what? He said we just read in Proverbs 28:9. Proverbs 28:8 that he gonna pity the poor. Why is he gonna pity? He gathered to them who pity the poor. Because what? The silver is mine and the gold is mine, saith the Lord of hosts, Yahweh Shem Yahushua. So all this shit of the earth is Yahweh Shem Yahushua's, man. So let me read that back, because I butchered it. Let me read it back so we can get the full context of what's coming out. Proverbs 28:8 again. He that by usury and unjust gain increaseth his substance, he shall gather it for him that will pity the poor. So that's all the so-called white man did. He gathered for Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Because the gold, everything on this earth belongs to Yahushua. Because when you read Matthew 28:8 and 18, I love bringing this scripture out because it's so it gives you the true understanding of who rules the earth, who rules. And I'm gonna get Daniel to back that up. Matthew 28:18, and Yahushua came and spake unto them. who the world and he calls Jesus is Yahushua. And Yahushua came and spake unto them, saying, all power is given unto me in heaven and in earth. All power. What does the word all mean? And that's red letter writing. Adawan Yahushua speaking. What is all power? What does all mean? Huh? And what did I say I was going to get? Daniel. The book of Daniel, chapter 2. And let's go to 21. Daniel chapter 2 and verse 21. And he changeth the times and seasons. Call like him like Yahweh Shem Yahushua. He changing the times and the seasons. Coming from what? This is the so-called white man's time and his season. He removing kings. Who he gonna remove? The so-called white man. And set up kings. Who he gonna set up? The poor. The elect of the nation of Israel. You so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans who are enduring to the end, which we read in Revelation, the 2nd chapter, the 26th verse, I believe. And he changes the time and season. He removing kings and set up kings. He give wisdom unto the wise and knowledge to them that know understanding. Going into who did he give that knowledge to the wise? Who is the wisdom? I mean, who got the wisdom and the wise? None other than the 1/3, hopefully, elect who were imparted with this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Let's go to Daniel 4:17. Daniel 4:17, because we still establishing what? Who rules in the kingdom of men? We finna find out. Who has all authority and power? Daniel 4:17. This matter is by the decree of the watchers and the demand by the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know. Who is the living? Everybody who is alive right now on this earth. That the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men and give it to whomsoever he will. So he gave the so-called white man power. We read what? In I believe that was Baruch 4:6. You weren't sold to do what? Matter of fact, let me read it again. Because I don't even want to butcher nothing, man. Baruch 4:6. Ye were sold to the nations, not for your destruction, but because you moved the Most High to wrath, ye were delivered unto the enemies. Unto your enemies. And your enemy is none other. Your top enemy is Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. So now, going back to Daniel 4:17 again. Salaki. I'm sick of this shit. I ain't gonna lie, I'm sick of it. I'm sick of seeing these cars riding around. People ain't got nothing else to do. You're not happy. You have no true happiness, man. You ain't got nothing. You just riding around aimlessly, man. Ain't doing shit. Can't wait for the gas to be taken out. Whoa. Daniel chapter 4 verse 17 again. This matter is by the decree of the watchers and a demand by the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men and giveth to whomsoever he will, and set up over it the basis of men. Who is the basis of men? None other than the so-called white man, Esau, Edom. Because you are the literal caveman. You are the cave beast. You came up out of the caves. You are the lowest of the totem pole. How do we know that you are the lowest? Because you don't even the sun don't even like you. Period, point blank. If you can't get that, I don't know what else to tell you. So now, let's continue, because we're still working with that transition. We're still working with that transition. Let's go back to Ecclesiasticus, also known as Sirach. Chapter 10, and I want to start at verse 1. A wise judge will instruct his people, and the government of a prudent man is well ordered. So guess what? A wise man will be considered those who have this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. And the government of a prudent man is well ordered. Because 1 Corinthians 14:40 tell you what? let all things be done decently in order. So with the wisdom and knowledge of the scriptures, everything will be in order. Verse 2, as the judge of the people is, let me read that again, as the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers. And what manner of man the ruler of the city is, such are they that dwell therein. So the so-called white man being in rule, everybody is done lost their damn mind. You got men calling themselves women. You got women calling themselves men. You got women saying, I don't even got a damn gender. You got men saying, call me this. I don't got no gender. You got people marrying trees. You got people marrying their mama. You got people marrying inanimate objects. You got people calling themselves a color. Huh? Call Layim Layah Bashim Yahushua. An unwise king destroyeth his people, but through the prudence of them which are in authority, the city shall be inhabited. So prudence goes into wisdom. And it's only one people that can be prudent. That would be you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans of Negroid and indigenous descent who are imparted with this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. And through you, the 2/3 of our people who are going to be destroyed on this side is going to come back in their right mind with that same prudence. Call Layim Layah Bashim Yahushua. The power of the earth is in the hand of the Lord. And in due time, he will set over it one that is profitable. And that's this due time that we in right now. We in that due time. We in the beginning of that due time. Call Layim Layah Bashim Yahushua. Verse 5. In the hand of the Most High is the prosperity of man, and upon the person of the scribe shall he lay his honor. Bear not hatred to thy neighbor for every wrong, and do nothing at all by injurious practices. Pride is hateful before the Most High man, and by both doth one commit iniquity. Verse 8 is where we getting at. Because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. So the kingdom or rulership, heaven, is going to be translated. This ain't the kingdom of heaven that the Bible speaks of, but the rulership, Esau being the end of the world, and Jacob being that beginning, that followeth, that is the kingdom of heaven. That is what? That is the kingdom translated from one people to another. Call Layim Layah Bashim Yahushua. And it's happened through the Spirit by the preaching of this word. Through his men and prophets. Call Layim Layah for this truth, man. Man, let me get this real quick. Let me get this real quick. Let me get let's go back to Isaiah. I got a couple more and I'm gonna close. Let's go back to Isaiah. Chapter 14. Isaiah chapter 14. And I want to start about Isaiah chapter 14. What's going on, brother? What's going on, money? I'm going to start at verse 19.
What you doing?
But thou art cast out of thy grave like an abominable branch, and as the raiment of those that are slain, thrust through with a sword that goeth down to the stones of the pit, as a carcass trodden underfoot. What does thrust through with a sword mean? Because thermonuclear missiles is coming over here to thrust these damn devils through like a sword. These missiles is coming to thrust them through like a sword. Verse 20, thou shalt not be joined with them in burial. The hopefully elect ain't going to be joined with them. You're going to be delivered through the chariots. Thou shalt not be joined with them in burial, because thou hast not destroyed thy land and slain thy people. The seed of evildoers shall never be renowned. So these so-called white people ain't gonna never come back into power. You will never be renowned. Because who is the plan of renown? Let's get that. Let's get that. Let's get that. Ezekiel chapter 34. And I'm going straight to the point, verse 29. And I will raise up for them a plan of renown, and they shall be no more consumed with hunger in the land, neither bear the shame of the heathen anymore. So that plan of renown is the 1/3 hopefully elect, who are imparted with this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, who had the true names of the Lord, who are rehearsing the righteous act, who go endure to the end, man. Huh? And have that ancient faith, man. Call Allah Yamna, Yahaba Shim Yahushua. Let's move it even more. Let's go to Ecclesiasticus, back to Ecclesiasticus, better known as Sirach. Ecclesiasticus, better known as Sirach, chapter 44 and verse 3. Let's start at verse 1. Let us now praise famous men and our fathers that begat us. The Lord have wrought great glory by them through his great power from the beginning. Because the elect is what? They are the elect have been predestined from the beginning, man. Such as did bear rule in their kingdoms, men renowned for their power, giving counsel by their understanding and declaring prophecies. Verse 4, leaders of the people by their counsels and by their knowledge of learning meet for the people. Wise and eloquent are their instructions, man. So guess what? Through that plan of renown, starting with Salakia, the 1/3 elect men, the 144,000 which goes into the prophets, that guess what? Those what does it say? Their knowledge of learning meet for the people, worthy of meet meaning worthy for the people, wise and eloquent are their instructions. And where they getting instructions from? Right here from these scriptures, man. So let's get ready to close out. Let's get ready to close out. Let's go to Job. Let's go to Job. The book of Job, the 20th chapter, man. The 20th chapter. And I'm going to start at verse 5. That the triumphing of the wicked, let me start at verse 4. Knowest thou not this of old, since man was placed upon the earth, that the triumphing of the wicked, who was the wicked, the so-called white man, Esau, Edom, is short, and the joy of a hypocrite, but for a moment. So, because guess what? What did we read in 4 chapters over? He was exalted for a little while. And the joy of a hypocrite, but for a moment. Though his excellency mount up to the heavens, and his head reach unto the clouds. Going into what? He got space, he got satellites and all that shit, and his pride. Yet he shall perish forever like his own dung. Meaning shit. When you flush shit down the toilet, you'll never see it again. They which have seen him shall say, where is he? Call like him, he shall fly away as a dream and shall not be found. Yea, he shall be chased away as a vision of the night. The eye also which saw him shall see him no more, neither shall his place any more behold him. He ain't never coming back in power. These so-called white people finished. They through. His children shall seek to please the poor, and his hands shall restore their goods. How is his children seeking to please the poor? Well, you just had the Pope. You just had the Pope go over there. The damn Pope, so-called, go over there and do what? Come over here to the tribes of Gad and Reuben and say they were sorry for them dead bodies that was under them damn reformatories, them damn churches. His hands shall seek to please the poor, and his hands shall restore their goods. Let me drop down and I'm going to finish right here. Verse 18. That which he labored for shall he restore, and shall not swallow it down. According to his substance shall the restitution be, and he shall not rejoice therein. Verse 20. Surely he shall not feel any quietness in his belly. He shall not save that which he desired. So guess what? The elite, they can't rest. They ain't got no quietness in their mind. In the fullness of his sufficiency, verse 22, he shall be in straits. Every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. Verse 23, when he's about to fill his belly, that's his new world order, the mark of the beast. Revelation 13, 16, and 17. When he's about to fill his belly, the Most High shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him, and he shall rain upon him while he is eating. Going into what? Those thermonuclear missiles, tearing up, destroying here at Babylon the Great. So with that, man, I want to give all glory and honor to Yahweh. By Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Rakakwadash, all praises to Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai, and giving all salutations to the men of great millstone who bless us with this truth. DTA Bob, hella soon, Kwam Yasharala.